Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. In today's video, I'll be showing you all of my April 2022 completed coloring pages, and if that is of interest to you, please stay tuned. Okay, so like I like to do in this particular video, there'll be a little bit of chatting in this beginning section, but not too much. We'll go straight away into my various bookshelves. If you're interested in seeing an updated video on where I store my coloring supplies and my coloring books, just let me know, because I did do a major declutter in April, and so it has changed up just a little bit. Then I'll go to bookshelf 1, bookshelf 2, bookshelf 3. There is a bookshelf 4 actually, but there's no completed books in that bookshelf, so I won't be featuring that one. And at the end of the video, then we'll check off some things in my reference journal in which I have some focus on for this particular year. All right, so let's get started. Now, I just did a video doing all of my completed pages out of my Forest Girls Opal books. I don't know how I'm going to be scheduling this, but that will probably go out before this one will, and so that's why this is on the desk, just so that I don't forget it. But the page that I completed out of this one is this one right here. This was my entry, and I say that loosely because I don't post this to her Facebook group. I stopped. I'm really bad at posting things online, and I don't know that I'll be posting it to Instagram. Again, I'm really bad at that. But for Corey's Alphabet Challenge, and that's Colorfully Optimistic's channel here on YouTube, she is for every month using one of her different mediums that start with a different letter. Because I don't have that many different mediums, I chose to do different colors. And so for the 5 colors that was chosen for this month, they all started with the letter I. So I have a Prismacolor Indigo Blue, Prismacolor Imperial Violet, a Caran d'Ache Ice Blue, a Holbein Ice Green, and a Caran d'Ache Indian Yellow. So because skin tone is involved, the skin obviously is going to look a little funny, but overall I'm quite happy with the page. This is the artist edition. I think it's the only artist edition she has available. So this paper is different from the paper in her other 2 books, and I thought it worked well with the pencils. Now, I don't feel the need to buff so much that I remove all of the white space. To me, my coloring book should look like coloring books. And so if you have this one and you're doing pencil work, that might be a concern, because there is definitely a little bit of a tooth to this, but that's just something you're going to want to try out. But this is my completed page out of this here, Forest Girl number 2, which is the premium edition. I did complete a page out of here. This is Erie's World Legends book. This was a buddy color with my friend Tammy of Tammy Colors 2. Any channels that I mention in this video will be linked in the description box below. If there's any book that you're interested in, since I don't link things in my videos anymore, just let me know, and if I can find a link out there, I will definitely do so, and you can just leave me a comment. But the page we completed was this one right here. And this is the Lady and the Unicorn. I've mentioned this in the past, but this unicorn looks more like a goat, so I think it's a goaticorn. I think that's a new thing. But this one was really fun. I did use some of my new Inktense paint pans, and I have to say I'm quite a bit of fan. There is some layering on here. So the bottom, by way of the grass, I was doing with my Ohuhu water-based markers, and then I just realized that's just going to be a ton of work, and I was already dealing with some pain in my right side and my shoulder, and so I decided to test out my paint pans, and I think they work great on this paper. If we look on the other side, there is a little ghosting and some slight bleed through there, as well as right there. And that was done with the Inktense. So I might have either not washed it out enough or put too many layers. This is not a ruined page for me, and this is actually something I probably would like to color sometime in the future, and so I'm not too concerned about that, but it did make the page go by rather quickly. I did use this for one of Olga's prompts, which was apple. Definitely check out Tammy's channel for her completed page because it's absolutely gorgeous. But this one was fun, and I am glad that we completed it for this current month. Because it is actually May 1st when I'm filming this, we're doing another Erie page. Now for May, we're also doing another buddy color. I don't know how long we're going to be doing our whole Erie journey together, but it is fun, and Erie is one of the books that I want to do a page in every single month, so it does line up for me as well. So this is my completed page out of here. I do put this because there is quite a bit of metallic watercolor on here, especially in her dress, and I don't want to get that on this page right here. I don't know that it will affect it so that I can't color, but yeah, I do just put a little bit of a buffer there just to protect it until I do complete this page, and then once it's completed, I actually don't care. And that's this book right here, Erie's World Legends. This is a coloring book that I have at work. This is Sassy Coloring's Wondrous Woman. Sassy Coloring also has a channel here on YouTube. There's actually two channels very similar in name. Sassy Coloring with the U is the one who has her own line of coloring books. And then there's also Sassy Coloring without the U, and then she just has a coloring book related channel here on YouTube. But the page I completed was this one right here. This was for Olga Rani's Find in Color of Apple. I did complete this over a period of 2 lunch breaks. It was actually rather straightforward. It's just sometimes I'm working on other things during my lunch break, and so the prompt was apple. I do like her coloring book, but I find that I come in here more often than not when it fits the prompt for something that's going on in the community. It's mostly done with alcohol markers, and I don't even think there's any glitter on here. Yeah, but there is a washi border just to bring some additional color to the page. But that's my completed page out of this Wondrous Woman by Sassy Coloring, and I will take this back to work. This was a coloring book that was amazingly gifted to me by my friend Pixie of Pixie's Projects. I will link her channel below. And there's actually a group buddy color between Pixie Evers from the Humanity and I. And we did this page right here. We do have another page set up for May for Humanity's birthday prompt, and I'll show you that in just a second. But this is the page that I did. Definitely check out their videos. Their pages are absolutely beautiful, and you can go as heavily pigmented, detailed on these pages as you want, or as light. For the background, I did wanted to bring in some of the blues. I think this is just very tropical and very relaxing. There is quite a bit of mediums on here, so Ohuhu, Sharpie, Pentel Dual Metallic, Pentel Glaze, and some of my Paul Rubin metallic watercolors, and I think it just looks beautiful. And the page that we are completing for this month's group buddy color is this one right here. One of the prompts for Evers' monthly search and find kind of things is dinosaurs. Dinosaurs is not a subject matter that I enjoy, and so I'm glad that she has that prompt, because then this is a picture I probably would not have colored. But then Poet Spice is also doing a There Be Dragons color look search and find thing. I don't know what these things are called, but you can color a bee or a dragon or a dinosaur, and so this is going to count towards that as well. I love when my pages count towards multiple hashtags, even if I don't post to Instagram for something like this. More likely that I will, but it helps me focus on doing pages, and when it can line up for a variety of different things, well, even better. But this is Keyhole Worlds, a coloring book. I don't know that I know who the artist is, but this was an amazing gift given to me by my friend Pixie. And then the last from bookshelf 1. Now this actually normally isn't on bookshelf 1, but at that point of the month, especially since I'm bringing coloring books from work, I just stuff it wherever it fits. But this is a coloring page out of Steampunk Darlings by Hannah Lynn. Now this is an interesting story. Well, I think it's interesting because Kathy of Spicy Cat had a birthday hashtag that basically centered around her name. And did I write it down? Yes. So her name is Kathy with a C, and she took the letters of her name and she invited the community to color all or one or whatever of the things on it. And it was cat, art, tacos, hair, and yummy. So when I told her I wanted to do a buddy color with her, because this is a buddy color, we don't have the same book, but she's trying to do a Hannah Lynn page every month, and I enjoy Hannah Lynn. I like using her color palette, and so what I decided to do with this page was, she obviously has hair, she obviously has a cat, and then I was going to color her in like a regular taco from Taco Bell colors. So you got your ground beef colors, you've got your lettuce colors, you've got your shredded cheese colors, tomatoes. There's just blue here because I don't know why there shouldn't be anything blue in your taco. And then it has a cat. Cats are super yummy. I mean, not really, but you know what I mean. And then this is a work of art. Not really, but I knew I was only going to do one page towards it. And I in my mind, I can kind of skew things so it fits the hashtag, but hers is really interesting too, because she also decided to color her Hannah Lynn page in taco colors as well. And so I think it's a very interesting spin. Now, I don't know if you were to look at this page and you didn't realize it was painted in taco colors, that's the inspiration for the color palette of this. But every time I see this, I'm gonna laugh because it makes me happy to look at it, and it makes me happy, the backstory about it. But that's the page that I completed in here. I do have a buddy color set up in here, and this was with the amazing Amanda Downing from Instagram. This one will also go towards Bubble Studio Aquatic coloring along hashtag thing. Again, terminology not my strong point because of this fish here. I think this actually would go towards Erica's mermaid, because that's just a fish mermaid. Yeah, no, I'm stretching things, but again, I don't know that I'm going to post it to Instagram, but I just like lining things up. But that is Steampunk Darlings by Hannah Lynn. All right, so we are going to bookshelf number 2. This is Fabiana Attanasio's Enchanted Castles. And this was a buddy color with my friends Poet and Pixie. And I used this page for one of Olga Rani's prompts. Or I think I was going to, because I think I was going to use this for House, but I don't know that I actually posted it by way of sending it to her. But this is done in a variety of things. There's some of those super crayon gel pens on here. Art 101, Ohuhu. Art 101 is just an alcohol marker. There's some Pentel Glaze and dual hybrid metallics, Wink of Stella, and some luminance on here. And I just really like the color palette on here. The ones that the ladies completed is absolutely beautiful as well. And then the text on the page is live for the moments you can't put into words. And I do like putting that on the page to kind of sum up what I think the page is about, or to take away some space. And here there was just some space in here that I wanted to kind of deflect from, and so I put some words on it, and that makes me happy. And so that is a completed page out of Fabiana Attanasio's Enchanted Castles. I did also complete a page out of this. This is Fabiana Attanasio's Dream Garden, another mythographic book. This was a buddy color with the amazing Amanda Downey. I will link her Instagram page in my description box below. And we did this one, and this one actually was done towards my Coloropoly prompt, which was color a picture with something that starts with the first letter of your first name. My first name is Johanna, and so I did some jellyfish. Amanda's page is absolutely beautiful, and for some of the hidden objects, they are a lot more obnoxious than I would have liked, but that's fine. I just either color them what's going on in the area or just try to ignore them, but I'm really happy with the color palette on this. This outside here is done with some Koi Sakura watercolors, and I kind of like the effect and I kind of don't. The picture in and of itself, because it's mostly alcohol marker work, it's very crisp by way of color, and so this looks a little messy to me, but when I was doing my distress ink for the background, it got into the outside, and so I just wanted to clean it up. In the future, I might just put washi tape. I do like how the black kind of focuses you in. There is quite a bit of metallic watercolor on here. There's some high chromatics in what I'm considering either planets or moons, and then in the blue of the water, there's some high chromatics there as well, just to bring some shimmer. But I'm really happy with the color palette, and I'm really happy that I did this buddy color with my friend Amanda. And that is my completed page out of here, Mythographic Dream Garden. This is also another one that I do at work. So for the picture I just showed you, with the exception of the border, although I have taken those watercolors to the office now, everything else was done in the office. I did complete a page out of here, which is by Coco Wayo. This was a fun buddy color with my friend Jen, colorist Jen 1975 from Instagram. I will link her Instagram page below. And it actually was a sort of a save for me. We had set this up before the beginning of the month had even started, but it really motivated me to finish it by the end of the month because one of Olga Rani's prompts was fire, so this counts towards that. This also counts towards Potato Princesses and Zombie Girls year-long hashtag Hollow New Year. Now again, I'm horrible at posting to Instagram with the hashtags, and I think that's what the whole purpose of it is. But for me, it just helps me focus on pages, and also makes me remember things that are going out in the community, especially since I write things on the side. Because it is black backed for every single page, I just use a white Jelly Roll pen. But this was a really fun color. Now Jen, her rendition of this, she used some like pale ballerina type pinks, and then the hair was white and pink, and I thought it looked absolutely stunning. Definitely go ahead and check out her Instagram page for her rendition of it. But when I saw it, I'm like, oh, she looks both sassy but also dreamy. That's an amazing combination. But that's this. I do have a buddy color set up for May, and this is this one right here. Now this particular picture makes me think of one of those Barbie head busts kids can get, where you can play with makeup or decorate the hair, because she's basically cut off at the shoulders. I mean, I'm not mad at it. I think she's cute and she seems to be happy, but that's what made me think about this when I'm looking at this page. So yeah, this is a buddy color here, but this is out of Coco Wayo's Witches. Now I did complete a page out of here. Now I had a lot of buddy colors set up in here, as you can see by the tags, and then I was out of commission for a good 10 days. For some of those 10 days, I was able to color a little bit, but I had some issues with my shoulder blade, and so I colored nothing. I had thought that I'd color a lot more in here, and I had to prioritize things. But the page that I did complete was this one right here. And as you guessed it, it's a buddy color. Pixie and Poet are my buddies on this one, but I finished this one and prioritized this one because there's a lamp, and that was one of Olga Rani's prompts. In fact, it was the only prompt I completed for that week towards that, because that's the week that I actually was having my issues with my back. And on here, there's a lot of things going on. So there's some Ohuhu water-based marker. It is double-sided, so I don't use alcohol marker, or I won't use a lot of it. Some Tombow water-based marker, some Prismacolor in the dress. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a shimmer, and that's with my high chromatics, and those are some handmade watercolors that I can purchase here from a Hawaiian company. Some Pentel Dual and Glaze. There's some Moonlight Jelly Roll on here, and there's some Distress ink, and I'm just really happy with the color palette on this. The ones that the ladies have done, though, absolutely stunning. So go ahead and check out their channels as well. And so that's the only page that I've completed from here. And then if you're wondering, there was some bleed through. And I think that's because there wasn't bleed through with the Ohuhu water-based markers themselves, but when I used the watercolor on top of that, then there was some bleed through here. Now this is not a page I would necessarily gravitate towards, but this is not a page that I would shy away from either. And so if I decided to color this, I would either cover it up with something that's darker, or I can certainly see this in bright pinks and yellows and blues and just sort of mask that. So that's not ruined to me. But that's my completed page out of here. And that is Mythic World, a Kirby Rosanis coloring book. Now I did complete a page out of this, a Rococo A Go-Go by Carla Magana. This was a buddy color with my girl Chelsea, and we did this page right here. This was also done very late in the month, and I did this at work. I actually taken this to work. This is something that I have here, but I like coloring this during my lunch break, and this was a one lunch break kind of deal. And so I might actually take one of her books to the office, because they can be quite quick colors for me since I don't do a background generally. And so on here I used Ohuhu Heath Throne permanent markers, Mondolama alcohol markers, some Pentel Dual Metallics, Sharpie, and Wink of Stella. Her name is Mango Van Gogh, because I do want to give them sort of drag name type names for the girls in here. This is not a stencil. I have this heart little tray in my office, and so I just traced around that. And then her text, just to fill that up, was "Be you. The world will adjust." And I really love how she looks. Chelsea's page is absolutely phenomenal as well, so definitely go ahead and check out her Instagram. But that's my completed page out of this, Rococo A Go-Go, a coloring book by Carla Magana. I do keep all of my Lulu Mayo books in the office, and so it helped because I did do a coloring page in here that actually covers two things for me. So this is Lulu Mayo's A Million Cute Animals, and I completed this page right here. Now this actually went for two things for me. This was the one color challenge that M Beans is hosting for this year. So this is just various tones of blue. And then for Poet, she was doing a hashtag for her birthday, which was, I believe, birthday goodies for Poet. And one of her things was an elephant. One of her things was a monochrome, I don't know if it was a monochrome or monochrome blue, but either way, it fits. And so I purposely chose this page and these colors so that it could fit for both of those different hashtags. And I think it's really cute. The Lulu Mayo coloring books are not coloring books I generally lean to. I don't know that I like the paper in here, but it was a fun color. I did do some stencil distress ink work here. I don't know if you can see it, but I used some white jelly roll on the tucks there, but I think it's really pretty, so I'm quite happy with this page. And then, so the other page is completed, so even if there's some bleed through, I don't see any colors peeking through. Yeah, that's good to know. Oh, but some of these have bled onto here, because this is one of the first pages I used Inktense with. Oh no. Albrecht Dürer, and I must not have activated all of it, because you can see a ghost of that right there. Honestly, I might just color the leaves and consider that a completed page. I don't mind how that looks at all. Anyway, but this is the one that I actually did. And this is out of Lulu Mayo's A Million Cute Animals, and I will be taking this back to work. This is Angela Porter's Eerie Entangled Art. I did this as a color along on my channel, and basically this was for Lily's random color generator. So I did use 1 distress ink, 3 alcohol markers, 1 Pentel Moonlight pen, and then some black acrylic paint. And it was really a way to show you how you can attack one of these highly detailed pages. Honestly, considering some of the other pages in this and the landscape book I have, it's not as detailed as some of her others, but I think if you focus on an element and then just sort of wash everything else in color, I think it looks great. And I do like the colors on here. So the whole yellow, brown, and kind of tealy color, I would certainly use again because I think that's just really pretty. But that's my completed pages out of here, Eerie Entangled Art, and that's a Creative Haven coloring book, and the artist is Angela Porter. This is Characters Through Worlds and Times, a coloring book by Kristen Caron. Now, I had made a mistake when I had ordered this book. I didn't realize it already had it in my cart, put it back in my cart. So I have 2 of these. So this one I will take back to work. The other one I have here. I don't know that I'll be coloring all of the images in both sets of my books, but it does give me a little bit of leeway when I want to choose a page and I'm in the office, or I want to choose a page and I'm here at home. And that's kind of how this page came about. It was towards the ending of the month, and I was very low at that point on things to go towards Olga's Finding Color for the monthly prompt, which was a character from a book, and so I chose this one. Cinderella is in written form before it was ever a Disney movie. I believe the original Cinderella did not have a fairy godmother in it, but some of the later renditions did, and so I thought this was appropriate to use. And so I added those boxes back there, and then I used some watercolor and some high chromatics to just bring some color there, because again, I don't generally like to do a lot of backgrounds. She was done in Mondo Llama alcohol marker, Ohuhu alcohol marker. All of the shimmer that you see on here is my High Chromatics watercolor metallic pens. There's some glossy accents for her eyes, and then some Pentel Dual metallic pens for all of the metallic work by way of pen work. And then I don't know if this is a quote from the Disney Cinderella movie, but it says, "Even miracles take a little time," and that's a quote by Fairy Godmother. And I really like how she looks. She just looks so delicate and sparkly. And to get the effect that her sleeves are translucent, I did color her skin in a lighter color than I colored her skin here that you can see that's visible, and then I colored that pink shade on top of it, and so it does give you a little bit of a tone that there is some skin peeking through, and I really like how that looks. I'm really pleased with this page. For all of the Kristen Caron pages that I've done, this is the only book I have from her. I've really enjoyed the process. But that's Characters Through Worlds and Times, a coloring book by Kristen Caron. Now, this was literally finished on the last day of April. I do want to be more intentional about coloring for my own hashtag, which is Coloring the Year of the Tiger 2022. And for that hashtag, it can be any tiger page, whether it's astrological in nature or not. It can be any astrology page, or for the various animals in either one of the astrologies, either Eastern or Western, it can be any one of those that go towards this hashtag. I'm not a hashtag police. If you want to post something to it, awesome. I'm horrible at it. I don't even know if I posted the very first one, but I'm also trying to post a picture that goes with that month's astrology sign, at least from the Western perspective, because I have actually more pictures that fit that. And so I completed this page April 30th, and I could not be more pleased by her. I think she is absolutely stunning. Now, if you had asked me who of the artists in here who I enjoyed the most, I probably would have told you either Kelly O'Gorman or Tanya Bond, because I do have one other page completed in here by Tanya Bond, and I actually love that. But now that I see this colored, guys, I think she's gorgeous. Now, of course, I added the text here because I didn't want to do a background, and that's my default. I used a lot of water-based medium on here. So her skin is done in Ohuhu, and there's some Art 101. I used Graphy Tint in the flowers here just to give them a little bit of color, using some of the white space on there. Again, she was really the focus for me. There's some high chromatics in here by way of the horns, but her skin is all done in Wink of Stella, so she just looks so shimmery and beautiful. There is some white gel pen, although you can't see it very much, in her eyes, some glossy accents, and then I did use some Pentel Glaze pens for all of this, and then it just makes it a really nice effect with very minimal effort. The text on her page is, I looked up something regarding Aries, and it says, boredom and routine are valleys that Aries must rise above to breathe easily. And that's something by Teresa Noel Celsi. And Aries runs from March 21st through April 20th. And so the next page I'll be coloring out of here will be a Taurus. I don't know which one, because I've had so much fun in this. This is the other page that I was really happy with as well. I might choose one of the other artists, Kelly O'Gorman or Mitsu Sato View. It says how to say it right there. Just because I'm having a lot more fun in this than I had anticipated. So yay. But this goes towards my own hashtag. Coloring in the Year of the Tiger. I had forgotten that I had done that elephant page, and so this actually would also go towards M Bean's one color challenge, because these are all different tones of brown. But this is my coloring out of this book, Coloring Heaven's Zodiac Special, with a variety of artists, and this I did purchase from Etsy. And the final page from bookshelf number 2, again, we do have one more bookshelf to go, is out of here. Now, because I was down for several days this month by way of my physical ability, because mentally I've been okay, I've only actually completed one page out of this book here, or out of any of my Zan von Zeds, and it's this one. Now this one was a bit of a struggle, and for May, actually, I won't be able to do a marker challenge. Now, how do I say this? I've mentioned Corey's alphabet challenge. Well, I do a pencil page and I do an alcohol marker page. Well, I've already looked through all my alcohol markers, and I don't have any alcohol markers that start with the letter J that have the name on it. I'm not going to research things online. So this actually has 2 alcohol markers, because that's all I could find with the letter I. I was for April. And then I also used some Inktense paints to just give me that third color, because these 2 colors are so similar in tone. I didn't think I could get away with it, or I didn't think I could make it interesting. But with that said, I think she absolutely looks stunning. I was quite happy with her. It was a quick color. I mean, it would be. There's only 3 colors on the page, but I really had to play with tone on tone. And so like this, I just considered her hair, just so that I can color it similarly. I did her skin and her hair with that Ionian green from the Inktense paint set that I have. And then I layered some alcohol markers on top of that. I thought that worked beautifully. There's some tone into her skin, so I think she looks interesting. Her eyes did not have a defined eyeball, and so I just colored it like that. And for her little dress here, there's skull and bones, and I decided to just color that with a little bit of shading with this Inktense paint here, just to bring shading that was already on the page, and then just let the white be an additional color on the page, because with such a limited color range, you have to kind of use the tones on the page to begin with. For the blue in her flower, I did do some layering just to bring a little bit of intensity to some of it, just to bring some shading into it, because again, I was very limited in color, and that was the darkest color that I can use. And then the text on her page, again, so that I can consider the background done, is, "It was funny," she thought. but her smile turned wistful because she had nobody to tell. And that's from Lainey Taylor. And that's just, she looked wistful to me, so I looked up wistful quotes. And that's one that I found that I really liked. And this is a page done. Done all, I think, in like an hour or two. Again, there's not a lot going on, so it shouldn't take that much time. But it did fulfill a few things for me. One, I was able to do that prompt that I like to do, even though I don't post it hardly. And two, it's the only page that I completed for my Opal books. So, yay. But this is, oh no, I'm sorry. I just said Opal, but I meant Zan Von Zed. So this is Zan Von Zed's Ladies of Leisure, and I believe this is the very first one in the collection. All right, we are on bookshelf number 3, and like I do for bookshelf number 3, I like to start with Reptiloids. And so this is a ongoing group buddy color with my friends Emma Colors 2020, Erica from Elm Colors, and then Poet Spice. And then we did this page, or we did a color palette. We're doing just whatever page we want, but with a color theme. The theme for this month was pastel. And so this is the guide that I chose. Again, I am trying to do this in order. So the next page I'll do is whatever the next uncolored page is, which is this one right here. I don't know what the color prompts is. I'll need to look on our DMs, but that's how I'm going to go through this book because I've got a lot of front heavy pages completed. And so he's done, and the text on his page is, "I am not angry, just disappointed," because that's just kind of the look that he was giving me. It's not one of my favorites because pastels generally are not my favorite colors to choose. I like to start with pastels and then put intensity on top of it, but I think he looks good. Now, I'm not gonna lie. This outside area here looks like if you wrapped something in bacon. That's why I purposely colored it these colors, because I could have done like tones of white and pink, but I didn't want him to be the general of bacon. Although right now that actually sounds really cool. Let me write that down. The general of bacon. But yeah, that's all I see with the border. He was kind of secondary to that. But this is mostly alcohol marker work. I did use my pastel alcohol markers. And so even if some of the tones seem a little bit bright, it's from that set, so it must count. And then there's some glossy accent on his eyes. And then there's some dual metallic pens, but there's also some Pentel Glaze pens. I love the Pentel Glaze pens because they make it shiny and kind of plasticky looking, and I love that effect. But that's my group buddy color from this, Reptiloids from Vassal Psycho. I did get several pages done in this. This is Hannah Lynn's Enchanted Faces pocket-sized coloring book. This is one of my favorites just because it's so small. And so this was a buddy color with my girl Pixie, and we did not specifically choose a page, but we actually sent each other color palettes. This is the color palette right here. You generally don't see me swatching colors on a page, but because I had a particular color palette given to me, then I feel like I should try to test them out. I did the testing over here, and this is the final one. This first color right here is not as close to it as I would have liked. This actually is a little bit closer, but this is layered colors, because some of the tones you see in here that you don't see down here is layer, like this light blue here, and the yellow created this green. So I feel it still fits the intention of the whole challenge, just because I had a limited palette to use. The only outlier here is her skin. I'm just going to do that in a skin tone. And then I did use some Distress ink right here. These aren't a palette that I would necessarily have chosen. With that said, I think she's one of my favorites because she's just so bright and pretty and beautiful. Now, I did use my Heathrow alcohol markers, and I actually really like them. But those are markers that I have in the office. I actually did take this because I was running out of time. So I finished this one in the office, but this was done with Pixie. Pixie's page is absolutely beautiful. The colors that I chose for her and her rendition of those colors, it made her Hannah Lynn page look super smoky. I love that. I love that effect. I don't know how she did it, but I love it. But that's my completed page with Pixie. I did have a buddy color in here with my girl T of T's World of Coloring. I always get her channel name wrong, but I will link it correctly in the description box. And so we did this page here. This was set up towards the middle of the month, but she wanted to do something Eastery. I have no problem with that. And so we did this page here. Hers is absolutely phenomenal. I really enjoyed this coloring, and the eggs were actually secondary to me. It was really about her. Because of the line work on here, I could have certainly chosen to color the background, but I wanted to go away. And so I just colored her very bright and then just did a wash of blue on the background. And then you guys know I'm not really into bugs and birds. And so I colored the butterflies in black and then did some Pentel Dual Hybrid Metallic Pen on top of it just to bring a little bit of sparkle, and called it a day. But I'm really happy with this one. And then I also did a buddy color with my girl Emma out of this one as well. She's trying to complete this book for 2022. So I reached out to her to see if she wants to do a page because she's certainly got a lot more completed in here, and I am quite happy with this page. And so her hair was actually a lot more vibrant, and then I put some of my high chromatic watercolor paint on there. At first I put the black paint, and then I put a blue one, and I actually think it really looks nice. And then I think that's her tail, and because this is Hannah Lynn's Pocket Edition where everything is kind of zoomed in, I actually had to look this picture up to figure out what that was. And so I definitely wanted to color it a distinct color, and then I realized it's the same color as the turtle, and I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I need to figure out what this is, and we'll just go from there. But I think this is a really pretty page, and I'm very happy that Emma chose it for us, and that is Hannah Lynn's Enchanted Faces. I did also recently pick up this one. I think this is her only other pocket-sized one. If she has any other pocket-sized books that you haven't seen, because again, I have those too, let me know, because I like these. These are very quick colors for me. And I did this one right here. And this actually is twofold. I haven't posted it to Instagram, but I might sometime in life. But this goes towards Poet Spice's birthday tag, which was birthday goodies for poet. Yeah, birthday goodies for poet. And then this also went towards Olga Rani's Finding Color, because this is actually the Cheshire Cat. I looked in the index in the front. And so yeah, I'm really happy with this. I did a base layer of alcohol marker for her outfit, and then went over it with some Pentel glaze pen, and I like doing that, so just in case there's any spots where I don't get the glaze pen, you still have color peeking through. And the background was just a really quick wash of high chromatic watercolors just to bring some sparkle to the page. But I think she's absolutely beautiful. I also did elongate the pupil to make it more cat-like. But yeah, I really like this page. I want to do more, but this is actually a March purchase for me. And so yeah, it's just, I definitely have more in the other one, but that's just because this one is newer to me. But that is Sweet and Simple Whimsy Girls, a pocket-sized coloring book by Hannah Lynn. This is a coloring book that I had purchased last year in June. I don't like the paper in this at all, and I'll talk about that when I get to the page, but this is Radu Frazi's Big Little World. It is a matte coloring cover, and it's a small book. It is 8.5 inches square, and the page I completed is this one right here. Now, we all know that the Amazon paper is not great, but this seems even thinner than that because the way that the alcohol marker works on these pages is weird. So it's not a coloring book that I gravitate towards. I actually keep this one at work, but it did fit Olga Rani's prompt of fire for this week. You can kind of see it there. I realized I should have outlined in white in her gallery that I saw earlier today. Some of the people did theirs outline in white, and it did make it pop more, but it fit the prompt, so that's fine. There's lots of layers on here. It seems to drink up the water or the alcohol marker more than usual, but the images are just so cute. So I'm not going to toss it because I like the images. It's just, I'm not a fan of this paper. And I don't usually have issues with Create Space paper, but this one just seems super thin. Oh yeah, but I'm happy with the page. And so that is a completed page out of this one, Big Little World by Radu Fraji. And I will take this back to work and keep it in my collection there. This one is another one that I keep at work. This is Nice Little Town Interiors by Tatiana Bogema-Stolova. This was actually a buddy color with my girl Sarah of Chronic Coloring Down Under. And she has this book. She didn't color in it yet, I believe. And so she wanted to do a page. And so we decided on this one right here. Now I wanted these gnomes in this outside area to be the focus of the page. And so I really spent a lot of time just doing lots of layers with alcohol markers, because this, again, I did at work during a variety or over a course of several different lunches, and then the rest I kept really sparse. Now if this were my room, I would probably have white walls with some trimming of some kind of color and then keep my desk white. In fact, I want to get a new desk cover, but I really am happy with this. I like that I didn't finish the houses because this is a work in progress for this person. I would never have a cup of anything on my desk while I'm coloring because the space is small and I can be clumsy, but overall I am quite happy with this. And so thank you, Miss Sarah, for doing this buddy color with me. I had a lot of fun with it, and I really like the intensity of that and how muted everything else is, even though it is colorful. But that is a completed page out of this Nice Little Town Interiors by Tatiana Bogema-Stolova. I'm already building up a pile to take back to work, but that's okay. But that's where this is going to go back to. I did complete 2 pages out of this one. This is Morgan O'Brien's The Way Home, a galactic coloring book. The first one is done as our group buddy color. I just realized I didn't write the text on here, but I do have a story for this. And so when I do my May group buddy color along with you guys, I will update you guys with the story on here. I did not realize that these were frogs. I thought these were flowers, but I believe it was Be Cozy. Actually, I'm not sure who it was, but I think it was Be Cozy who colored these as frogs. I'm like, oh, were they on the page the whole time? I didn't see frogs when I saw that. This was a really fun group buddy color, and so I'm looking forward to the one that we're going to be doing for May, and I'll show you that in just a second. But the other completed page I did was this one right here. This was a buddy color with my girl Pixie. Pixie is the one who showed all of these Morgan O'Brien books to me via either her channel or DMs, and I'm very thankful to her for that. So this one we did, it looks like an Easter page. I colored that intentionally. I actually don't remember what the eggs look like in the actual show, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to color it the way I colored it. And the text on here says, Grogu knew the eggs were for the Easter egg hunt for the kids in the village. Grogu also knew there would be a lot of disappointed children Easter morning. This is the way. And so any text that I put in here will end with that particular line, because that line is from The Mandalorian, which is a show on Disney Plus. So they're probably going to be a little sassy, a little snarky, because that's what I tend to favor. But I really enjoyed this page. Again, I need to put the text on the other page because I have a story in mind for that. And then let me show you the May group buddy color that we're going to be doing. And it's this one right here. And so this is what I'll be coloring along with you guys for the month of May. If you've already completed this page, go ahead and post it to Instagram with the hashtag Grogu in 2022. In fact, if you do any of the pages in this book, just use that hashtag because it's going to be a fun gallery to see, Grogu in 2022. And I've been really bad at mentioning it, but Be Cozy, and I'll link her channel below, is the reason why we're doing a group buddy color, because I did a flip through of this book and she said, oh, it'd be great if you organized a buddy color. And I'm like, okay, done. So I will make sure I link it in all of the videos that I do towards this group buddy color. But thank you, B, for suggesting it. Thank you to all of you who've already participated and will continue to participate. Again, the only criteria to do the group buddy color and use that hashtag is if you have this book. That's the only criteria. And again, any page from this book, go ahead and post it, because by the end of the year, I think it'll be a really fun gallery to see of Morgan O'Brien's work of The Way Home. And so that's the page that I completed here. Now this is a buddy color that I did with my girl Patty. Now Patty has been an absolutely phenomenal friend because we actually had 2 from this book and 2 from the next book. But I just, I knew that I'd had to prioritize my buddy colors and because with health issues I was having. So we only did 1 of each. And so we're going to do the other ones for me, which is fantastic. And so the page I did out of here is this one right here. I did add the border again because if I'm going to do a background, I like to make it as small as possible. I also think because she's a floating head, it kind of makes it look a little bit ominous. I wasn't going for ominous, but it looks a little bit ominous. This was colored for Poet Spice's Birthday Goodies for Poet because Bear was one of the prompts. And I did use Ohuhu Pentel Glaze, Glossy Accents, High Chromatics, and then black acrylic paint for here. And the text on this page is, sometimes it's better to put love into hugs than into words. And that is a quote by Percy Bysshe Shelley. I don't know who Mr. Shelley is, but it's a very lovely quote. And so that's my completed page out of this one, Surreal Fantasy by Ikuko. And then we also did a buddy color out of this, Ikuko's Elegant Faces. And we did this here. Again, this also went towards Poet's Birthday Goodies of Cat. And again, I did frame this out so I didn't have to do an entire background. And so the text on the page here is, time spent with cats is never wasted. And that is from Sigmund Freud. Patty and I do have another buddy color set up for May. So thank you so much, Patty, just because I knew I wouldn't be able to finish all of our buddy colors in here. So yay, we've got buddy colors set up for May. And that is out of Ikuko's Elegant Faces. Now this is a completed page out of here. This actually would have gone towards Lavella and T's Color Your Hoard, but again, I'm horrible at posting to Instagram, but this is Mystic Art Mirrors Fairytopia Special. And I have to say, this is probably one of my favorite pages that I've completed ever. And it's this one right here. This was a buddy color with my friend Deb of Instagram. I will link her Instagram page below. And this was done with Ohuhu's Derwent ink paint pans, Pentel Glaze, Pentel Dual, High Chromatics, and Pentel Moonlight. And I think she is stunning. Absolutely stunning. For any of these that I do watercolor on or any kind of paint on, the skin will always be alcohol marker because I just like how it works. But the rest of this is done in the Inktense paint pans. Guys, I've been talking for quite a while and my throat hurts. There's a few more books, but I'm really struggling and fumbling. So if there's some weird edits, that's why. But overall, I think she's absolutely beautiful. When Deb had suggested some pages, immediately this is where my mind went to, because I think the composition of the artwork is already stunning. I didn't know the color palette that I was going to use. I did her skin and then I did the background and I just sort of built it from there. But I could not be happier with her. And then the text on her page is, the mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. And that's by Plutarch. And I chose that one and I looked for quotes with fire because the background looks like there's fire going on. So I could not be happier with this page. I look forward to doing more in here. But that is a Fairytopia Special by Mystic Art Mirrors. I did do a page out of this, and this is from the films of Harry Potter, Magical Art. This is a Scholastic book. And I did do this page right here. This was for Olga Color's Old Woman prompt. And I did McGonagall with my Inktense paint pans, and I thought it actually worked really well on this paper, even though it is very porous. So you can actually see some of the paint ghosting through. You certainly can see the alcohol marker. These pages are a bit fragile, so I do put some tape on here, and even though it's double-sided, I'm just going to use whatever mediums that I want to. There's certainly pages that I want to color and pages that I don't, but I really am happy with this. And then the background is basically a wash in my high chromatics, because you can still see the images that are there, but I really wanted her to be the focus of the page. It was a quick color because of that. She does have some glossy accents on her eyes, and I think she looks really good. I also looked for a reference photo because I knew she had particular colors that she wore, and so yeah, I'm quite happy with this. But this is a completed page out of the Films of Harry Potter Magical Art coloring book. I did do a page out of this for Ogle Ronnie's prompt of Old Woman, and I actually am very happy with this one as well. And so there's this one. You've got the old woman right there. At least she looks like an old woman to me. And so I decided to do an acrylic background in black, and then there's some Pentel Dual. No, that's Pentel Glaze pen because it's shiny, and then just some layering of some alcohol markers here. And I really like how this came out for the dragon. There's some of the glaze pen for his scales, but some glitter for his underbody and his face. And I think it's a really pretty page. Now this is a coloring book that has double pages, and this actually might be a coloring book I do doubles in, just because I generally don't like to color the same thing twice, but there's just certain images in here that I think are absolutely exquisite. And so it's certainly my favorite of R.J. Hampson, which is good because it's the only one I have of R.J. Hampson's. But yeah, this is definitely a page that would rank pretty high on my completed pages that I really enjoyed doing, but also enjoy the final product. But this is Night Garden by R.J. Hampson. I did do another buddy color with my friend Jen. The color is Jen 1975, and we had chosen this page right here, which is the Kappa. He looks kind of like a golem to me, and that's how I was seeing him in my mind. And this was also something I finished relatively late in the month by way of yesterday, the 30th of April. And so he's done with, again, some of those Inktense paint pans for both his skin and his shell. I did go over the shell in some of the high chromatics. Alcohol marker work to just add some details, and then some just distress ink for the background just to take away some of the white. And I like this book because the characters are just so quirky looking. So I'm very thankful that Jen agreed to do this page, because I actually chose this page. But it was a really fun color, and you definitely should check out her Instagram because she has her completed page as well. And we are actually doing another page out of here for the month of May. But that's Gods and Beasts, a coloring book by Adam Fisher. And then the final page that I'm going to show you is out of this, Disney's Vitralis. I'm hoping it's in frame. This was a buddy color with my friend Rach of Pricey Colors. I'll link her channel below. And this also went towards Pixie's monthly hashtag of Pixie's Disney coloring, I think it is. I will put it on the screen if I got that wrong. But for the month of April, the character chosen was Belle. So Rach agreed to do this page with me. Her page is absolutely phenomenal. She DM'd me earlier today, and that's how I wanted this to look. But this is one of those projects where it got to a certain point that I was just kind of over it. So I do have the start of this where I started her dress and his coat right here with you guys on my channel. Definitely go and check that out. I did finish them out mostly in water-based marker. I did add some Pentel Dual hybrid metallic pens as accents, and then the majority of the background, so all of this pink you see here, and the background for these characters here were done with my high chromatics. Now I love the vibrancy that the water-based marker brings, but I also knew I was over this. And so I'm like, I'm just going to use some watercolor on here to get some of those light and dark tones because of the way way that watercolor moves. This actually is done in pencil, and I kind of like the look of it, but it was a lot of work and my hands hurt, and so I knew I wasn't going to do the rest of it that way. I'm very happy with my page. It's one of those things where there's a lot of work on the page, and it's in mediums I don't generally like, especially with this paper. I don't know that I like how pencil moves on here. And because there's so many elements on the page, that's just a lot of work. Because I'm not intimidated by pages, but I can be overwhelmed or bored rather quickly when there's just a lot to do with pages. But I'm very happy that I completed this, and I'm very thankful to Miss Rach for doing a buddy color with me in this book. I do have some Disney books that I ordered that are much smaller because I want to participate in Pixie's monthly challenge. I just don't necessarily know I want to do it out of this book because work. But that is the final page that I'm going to be showing you. If you're interested, I'll go through my reference journal really quick with you next. So I'll see you in just a second. Now, in my recent Start Small tag, I did reference Maisie Lane Co. This is my Maisie Lane Co. journal. I really enjoy it. It does come with a little bit of an icon on the spine. The icons change by way of the colors of the books. That's already chosen by the owner of Maisie Lane Co. But you can also put text on the front of the cover, and that's what I really like. I do have it covered with some plastic just because I don't want this to get dirty. But let's go to my focus for this year. And it's this right here. This has changed slightly since the last time you saw this page. I did add this tip in. I just cut down a Archer and Olive notebook paper that I have and just kind of taped this in because I wanted to separate my buddy reads with my friend Andy from her Patreon reads, just because it's easier to track for me. But I did try to make it in the same color scheme as the rest of this so that it ties in with this, which is my coloring book focus for 2022. So I did complete an Opal page. I did complete a Zan Von Zed and Carla Magana, Mythographic, Erie. Oh, I did not do a Joanna Bassford page. Okay, well, put that there. Did Reptiloids, Ikuko, 10 by 10 book. I did the 2 mythographics, so that would count. Hardback book also is the Opal, so it counted double. I did do the alphabet marker page that I showed you, as well as the pencil. I did have a few entries for the Hollow New Year. Hues of 2022 collab. I believe the Grogu page fit towards that because I used only pastel colors there, although I didn't mention it when I was on that page. Coloring the Year of the Tiger 2022. That actually was that Aries page that I showed you, and that actually is a year-long color along or color hashtag, and it'll actually go through January 2023. The one color challenge I did, that's M Beans. Lily's random color generator I also did. That was the Entangled page. And then Tammy of Tammy Colors 2 is running her fantasy for Tammy's 50th all year long for 2022. And I did have a couple of pages go towards that. Yay. So this is something I'd like to finish with you guys on the end of these videos, just because this is my focus. So I do want to be a little bit more intentional, but I don't want to have goals because I don't color for that. I color to unwind and distress, but I do like checking things off. I also do like setting things up. And so this hit a lot of buttons for me. I'd love to know if you had a favorite page out of the pages that I showed you today. I do have quite a bit of buddy color set up for May. I'm trying to kind of scale back from buddy colors, and it's not that I don't enjoy my buddy colors, but I noticed a little towards the ending of March and certainly towards the ending of April that because I was down due to health reasons for April, the majority of the pages that I chose were buddy colors, or they fit prompts for things in the community that I wanted to do. So of course, any page that I've completed, I want to do, but I also found that I would want to reach for a coloring book, but if it didn't fit a prompt, I didn't feel like I had the time for it, that I needed to prioritize my buddy colors, which I know is ridiculous. Any of my buddy colors would just flick me on my nose and tell me I'm being silly if we actually met in person. But it's just, my buddy colors kind of prioritize, and then the prompts by way of Olga or Sarah or whatever kind of prioritize, and then I choose books if there's time, just because. And I found that the just because coloring was quite minimal this month because of everything else that was going on. And so if I don't reach out to do additional buddy colors, it could just mean that I'm kind of tapped out, because I don't want to stop, but I also don't want to have as many as I've had before, or I'll just stop saying I'll have it by the end of the month, and I'll just have it when it's done. And if you're finished with your buddy color and we've set one up, go ahead and post it. You're not going to hurt my feelings, I promise. But yeah, the buddy colors I've enjoyed from the beginning. It's just, there are a lot, and there are a lot of very detailed pages, and so it became a little overwhelming, and then I got a little down on myself. And then I was having conversations with Pixie and Evers, and they really lifted my spirits. And I know if someone said that to me, I would tell them they're being silly, because this is not supposed to stress you out, but I don't also take my own advice. So there's that. Anyway, guys, that's it for me for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. And more than likely, if you do enjoy my coloring book completed pages videos, you're going to see them scheduled mid-month, just because these are a beast to edit. They're also a beast to film, because I talk through the entire thing. So if you're trying to gauge when you're going to see those, certainly by the mid-month would not be a surprise. All right, guys, well, that's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.